was nothing like it, man. It was nothing like the swag, the flow, nothing, man. We was Far Rock, man. The Riot.
Hard of Redfern, man. Y'all already know what it is. Scramble City, man. Stack Bundles, aka Seymour Cake.
When Stack was out there on them cool tapes, tearing shit up, nigga, we was like the next motherfucking G-Unit D-Block coming out of motherfucking Queens. Farrockaway, Queens, that is, man. Niggas wasn't fucking with the Riot, man.
The album's retarded right now. It's called Rockstar. You sure already know why the fuck why, nigga. This is where I'm from, and I'm a superstar.
I started moving dope eggs like ovaries for low flips like Clover G's. Bitches had to notice me. I was the gorgeous gangster. Got them in their lingerie, ran through their hosaries. I had some shit, G's. I said some shit in my time.
Raekwon Elliott, aka Stack Bundles, born October 21st, 1982, died June 11th, 2007. When it's time to write the official life story of Stack Bundles, my only hope is that it's either done by one of his loyal fans that saw the star he was before his passing, or up all night in a humid Queens nightclub, sweating profusely as his lyrics blast. That, or one of the select few capable from Far Rockaway, the Sixth Borough, where they make sure you understand their independence from Queens, New York. Only a Far Rockaway product can understand what Stack Bundles was and was going through, and also the star he was going to be for his neighborhood. It's ironic I suggested be someone from there, because sadly, it's exactly where his life was taken, by the hands of his own city and a person he even called friend. By all accounts, Stack Bundles had what it took in those days to become a superstar. Some go as far as to say he could have been the next Biggie Smalls. They speak about his charisma, which was evident as soon as you watch anything he was featured in. His chameleon-esque look about him, in that he could be the big bad bully in the movie if needed. He could play the fly gangster role, or the hood's witty salesman that's managed to sell just about everyone that's listened to his music on a pipe dream that one day he was going to be the biggest in rap. Joe Budden, as MC could be, recalls first meeting Stack Bundles and actually thinking he was whack as a rapper. But the more he got to feel his energy, he could see the ultra-confident, excited, braided hair standout with the gift of gab would be something one day. And so, he was on Joe Budden's Mood Music 1 and 2 and was supposed to appear on Mood Music 3 before his untimely demise. Nowadays, you hear the same story over and over of the need to elevate yourself outside of the place you call home in order to improve your safety, as examples of that took far too many talented artists harmed in their own city. Rest in peace, Chinx Drugs. Well, Stack Bundles was one of the first of my generation to experience just what that meant. His story also shows how you could have it all and be right under the nose of success and find it even harder to get that foot in the door. Here are 3 stunts in the life of Stack Bundles that, had these not happened, he could have been New York's next best thing. Let's talk about it. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth. Let's get it, man.
Bring me back, flex what it is, my dude. Let's pick it up. You told me you was gonna turn it back up when I got on. Let's go, baby.
That's preseason. You blame light for shit like that. Right, we don't even buy new ones. We just crash them and change the color, bring it out, make it look good all over. It's like, that's what we do.
Stack Bundles, as mentioned, is a Far Rockaway, New York product that was born to entertain or hustle in some way. His mother, a former MC called Classy E, and father, who spent time in prison for his involvement in the distribution of narcotics, show you exactly where he came from and how he must have been raised. The streets, the hood. We all love where we're from. The sad part is, it doesn't love you back. Stunt number 1, we can use you better than we can sell you.
Stacks just called me like on a Wednesday, like, yo, G's, I'm broke, G's. You said closed mouth don't get fed, I'm broke, G's. I'm like, all right, man, meet me at the bank tomorrow, man. I'm gonna give you like 20 stacks or something like that. He like, all right, G's.
Full transparency, when researching Stack Bundles, it was truly hard to find stunts in his growth at all, except for the obvious, which we'll address later. But breaking research down further, I left with the feeling that there were so many opportunities for him to really be put on, which may have given him a faster opportunity to leave his hood environment. Instead, it seemed like time and time again, he was used for his way for others to benefit, having him play the background and the sideline when he was obviously a star of his own, especially for the time. In a second, we'll get to those instances. Stack Bundles, as a young kid, grew up a fan of music and hip-hop, but expressed this in a different way than the typical.
Alright, what's your name, bro? Raekwon.
He was actually a dancer that appeared in music videos and famously at the Apollo hosted by Steve Harvey. After he was expelled from Far Rockaway High School, he moved to South Jamaica, Queens to finish his studies, which is where he met Lloyd Banks, who would inspire Stack to take rap more serious. In '99, he linked with a crew called the Greatest Rappers in the Streets, or Grits, where he met Sky Zoo, who was a part of the crew as well. His hustle from now would be full force as he began to see the way out the maze. He caught the attention of Funk Flex, who he waited outside Hot 97 to rap for. Flex referred him to a label exec, who referred him to Lupe Fiasco, with whom he would spend the next 6 months. Just to spoil this for you, I'm running down the instances where Stack was in pristine company, exactly what an up-and-coming rapper needs, and for whatever reason, he didn't stick. He'd meet Kanye West around that time, and he and Kanye hit it off, which would be a constant theme for Bundles. Kanye produced a demo for Stack while trying to get himself on as a producer and rapper. Stack would later get the attention of DJ Clue through his Riot Squad freestyles, as he promised to sign Stack. While during the waiting period, he had Stack on all his mixtapes, but the signing never happened. He then moved under the wing of Jim Jones and Bird Gang and was said to have written Jones's biggest song to date, along with Max B, We Fly High. Some say Jones was using Stack and Max B, although I have no evidence of this, only that this was another major look for Bundles that, like the others, never materialized. Fabulous, Joe Budden, did they really want to see Stack win as a rapper, or did they see him as a fiery, flash-in-the-pan threat of a personality, perfect to get their flame going? Stunt number 2, Redfern Houses, Far Rockaway, Queens.
Reporting live, man. Scramble City, my hood, my town I own, Rock America.
It's the place that sadly in the summer of 2007, Stack Bundles took his last breath. It also perfectly coincides with his first growth stunt of not being in a position to leave the toxic neighborhood he grew up in sooner. Instead, like countless others killed in their own city, he grew too big for the wolves to accept him. He'd go on to work with Jim Jones under Jim's Bird Gang label that led to features with Lil Wayne and him actually thinking about signing to Young Money due to the connection the two had with each other. The song Weatherman released on Jim Jones's album, with Stack closing the song and sounding like he not only belonged with the best rappers in the game, but arguably produced the best verse on the song outside of Lil Wayne's classic sound. The gorgeous gangster, as he called himself, was finally in position to see all his dreams come true. Unfortunately, his belief in keeping it too real and that his streets actually loved him back cut that short. Reportedly only earning around $300 a show with Jim Jones, Bundles would still give off the look of a guy that already sold millions of records. He began buying different cars, most famously his black Porsche convertible that he sat in front of his projects daily, looking like the king while the wolves calculated his pockets. He began to feel jealousy from his environment and even asked a family member to help him find a new place after his Porsche was vandalized outside his home. For whatever reason, that didn't happen sooner. Reading into what Jim Jones says about it, Bundles wasn't in position financially to do so. He'd allegedly called Jim Jones for financial favors all the time, and right before he died, was scheduled to pick up $20K from Jones 2 days before. On June 11, 2007, the rapper, along with friends, reportedly went to Stereo nightclub where boxer Zab Judah was in attendance. Allegedly, Stack's crew wanted to rob Judah and Stack prevented it, which didn't sit well with his acquaintances. Stack Bundles left just before 4 a.m. and stopped for White Castle before returning home to his housing projects, where he was approached and a fight broke out in the building lobby. Bundles was shot in the head and neck as the suspects ran off. One suspect, whose name is out there, was caught after a police was killed and the weapon used matched the evidence of it being the same that killed Stack Bundles. And just like that, he was gone. His name became legendary in hip-hop and he finally began to get his flowers. He never got to drop his debut album, and disagreements between Stack's camp and Jim Jones as well as others halted a posthumous album promised but still hasn't been released. Stunt number 3? There is no stunt number 3 because Stack Bundles had none. He was well on his way and everyone knew it. Had he left his hood sooner by any means, he would have seen his potential. I've heard street friends of his explain that it's harder than you think to just pick up and leave the only environment you know. But you have to lose that small-minded mentality and believe in yourself enough to know you can be anything you want anywhere on earth. Me personally, I think Stack enjoyed being the man in his hood and pride got in the way when things got hot. He's a legendary figure in hip-hop and New York as a whole, especially Far Rockaway. He's done a lot in his short 24 years on Earth, and may his voice live on. Rest in peace, Stack Bundles.